right now, actually, so I don't forget. So for these applications, if you find some that you think are of interest to you, or you think that would be beneficial to you as a teacher, to go ahead and do a little bit more research on them. I'm going to show you several today, and you'll get just a little bit of a little snippet of it. We're going to play a game today. I may have you start using one application, which is part of your assignment. I may not. It just depends on where we're at with our time. So some of these you might be familiar with or have heard of, and others you may not have. And then I'll talk about your final as well, so that you're aware of what's on that. But I don't think you'll find it to be very, very troublesome. That's for sure. So the first one that I'm going to share with you today, it's called Bouncy Balls. I'm going to move some things around on my screen here. So this is really just a noise meter, and as you, oh, it's not hooked up to my speaker. There we go. So as I make noise in here and talk, the balls will move, and the louder you get, the more they'll bounce. And then you can actually go from balls to emojis. And there's bubbles, which I like because they go to the top. And then my favorite one, the eyeballs. So just a noise meter, and something you could use in your classroom, especially for your elementary people, to have on the screen. And you can increase the amount. Or decrease the amount. And then you can make it more sensitive, so it picks up stuff quicker, or less sensitive. So it depends on the level of volume that you want in your classroom. So if you go to, you know, a group setting where students are working on their own, maybe you're working at with some students in a small group, you can have this going in the background. And then if the volume gets up too loud, then it's going to notify students for you. You can also do it with no sound. So then it's still going to put too noisy on the screen. Or you can do it with a beep when it gets too loud, and it lets the students know that that it's too loud as well. So pretty cool, right? Pretty simple. And all that was bouncyballs.org is all it is. So if you want a list of these, I guess I can make one. I didn't make a list. I'm going to write a note to do that. Okay. So we'll turn off the bouncy balls for now. How many people are familiar with Planbook? Anyone? If you are, raise your hand. No one. Wow. Okay. I'm wondering. I'll just leave that. I think I'll be able to show you most of it. So Planbook is a lesson planner, and it's super handy. In the old days, we used to have to do our lesson plans, and people would have these giant binders, and some administrators would ask you, you would be required to have a copy in your room of your lesson plans. And then if I'm administrator, I'm coming into your room, and you're teaching a lesson, I should be able to pick up your lesson plan book, your binder, or whatever it was, flip to December 3rd, and what you're talking about in that binder should be pretty darn close to what you're doing in your classroom. Okay. A lot of principals have gone away from that. They don't have the time to check lesson plans like that. In other cases, they would have them on their desk, or they would have you turn in a copy to the office. So then the office would have a copy of your curriculum as well, maybe both. And that was so that if you were gone or absent and you weren't able to prepare your sub plans, let's say Cameron was gone, I can grab her binder and open it up to the day and give that lesson plan to the sub, and then the sub could go and teach your class. Okay. Well, we don't do that anymore. I don't know of any school that requires you to print them out and put them somewhere. Now most schools are going to a program like this, and what Planbook does is it allows you to put all your lesson plans right in line in a online format, and it's really slick. So I won't show you all the features because my subscription ran out, and I don't use this myself since we have Moodle. But so you can add assessments, assignments. You can categorize everything by class. You can put specific events. Maybe you have a field trip or something else. You can put that right into Planbook. If you have a no school day, so let's say Wednesday was a no school day here on January 2nd, 2019, I could put no school day on there. You can do a full school year calendar. You can send out announcements to your students, and you can do substitute notes. So you could put extra notes on there for your subs. If you have a sub and you're using Planbook, you can share your daily lesson plans right with that sub through their email. It's really slick. The other great thing with the lessons, so here's a lesson that I would have. You can add the homework right in there for students. You can share your Planbook with students so that they can see what you're talking about in the homework. You can add your own specific notes to it. And then the really cool thing is you can add standards. I'm not sure if it's going to show. Oh, it is. Good. So this, can you see that all right? Okay. So we have the US state, we have Iowa standards, right? Here's the InTask. Okay, that's what you guys are all working under right now. Okay. The US Common Core, which many states have adopted the Common Core. That would come, if you're in Missouri, you're not going to use the Iowa teaching standards. You might use the Common Core. They used to have the National Science Standards in there as well. But then from that state of Iowa, so it's on state of Iowa, then we can find whatever grade, right? And it's under science for grade 10. Here are the standards. So if I wanted to add those to this assignment, then all I have to do is click down here, and they've been added. And now I have 2 standards assigned to that to that lesson. Okay. Instead of you having to type them out and cut and pasting and putting them onto your assignment, you can add them just with a click of a button, which it makes it really slick. So yeah, you can see my subscription has expired. It is really cheap. It's like, let's see if we can find out. So it's only $15 for a year. So for a teacher, I think you can squeeze out $15 probably. It's probably not too bad. You can see it gets cheaper a little bit as you extend them. What's really nice is a school district can get a subscription for everybody in the building, and they often get it like I can't remember what the number of teachers is, but it gets down pretty cheap for the school. They're paying like $3 or less per teacher in order to have it. As an administrator, the administrator can go right into your Planbook and see your lesson plans. Like I said, you can share those out with other people. It's really nice. There are a few districts around here that use it. Eddyville uses it as a district. I know that a lot of teachers that have done their student teaching have appreciated using Planbook to do their lessons as opposed to typing them all out in a template on Google Docs or whatever it might be. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. It's called Planbook. If you just go to planbook.com, and you can get in there and you can sign up for it. And like I said, I would recommend it when you get to that point of student teaching time, or if you know prior to when you student teach a couple months, go ahead, get your subscription to Planbook for $15. And then as you plan with your co-op teachers, you can plug your assignments right in there, attach your standards right to it. And then when you have a supervisor, you just share that link with the supervisor, or you do a PDF image of your lesson plans and you can share that with your supervisor, because you're gonna have to share your lesson plans every single week with your supervisor all throughout student teaching, okay? So this would be an easy way to do it and save you a lot of time where you don't have to look up those standards and attach them in a separate way, okay? Questions? I know I'm just kind of buzzing through some of these here. Beneficial. Do you guys see benefit in doing that? I hope. This is one of the best applications you could use as a teacher, and it's very inexpensive. So it has great benefit. Okay. The next one I'm going to show you is called Class Dojo. Has anybody ever heard of Class Dojo before? All right, good. A handful of you. Class Dojo used to be one of my favorites. It's still up there, but it's not as high as it used to be. Class Dojo is, originally it was a classroom management, classroom behavior monitoring application, and they've added some things to it. I wish they would continue to add more. It hasn't changed a lot here in the last few years. With Class Dojo, one of the nice things is it's totally free. You can connect your parents through email to your class, and I'll show you a couple of things that it will allow you to share with them. But you put your students in, and they get these little monster icons as people. And when we get to, let's see, you have your class list, right? And you can run this on your phone, you can run it on a tablet, you can run it, of course, on your computer like I am here. So let's say we're working, I don't have your guys' names in here, but you have all these different students that are in your class, and you can go to Shelby and say, oh, Shelby's doing a great job. Look at her smiling as she works. She's getting an extra 5 points. Or not extra 5 points, but getting 5 points. So you can hand out participation points. You can see that there's different categories here: helping others, on task, participating, persistence. How many people have heard of PBIS? Hope everybody shakes their head or hands their hand. Yep, good. PBIS, you hand out tickets for good behavior. Positive behavior gets tickets a lot of times for PBIS. This is another way to do it, and it's a way to do it digitally. You can put your own individual categories in there for these behaviors, and you can see you can edit them here. You can change the amount of points and choose whatever you want on there. On the flip side of this, there's also negative points. So this is kind of that behavior, the opposite side of it. So where you're trying to correct some behavior, it's a great tool to keep track of things for students. It wouldn't necessarily have to be something that you target as being completely negative. Maybe it's just some things you want a student to work on, and so you put specific skills in here, and this is a way for you to monitor them. But so if my student Shelby was not sharing, I can mark that, and she's going to lose points then. So her total went from 5 down to 1. Okay, so really easy way to keep track of behavior. When we look at it on, let's see, you can do groups as well. So if you have a group of students working together, you can put that in there. once you have all that data in there, we can see the whole class's progress. So how they are doing. So maybe you're working towards points in your class. You know, if we get to so many points or a 85% positive ratio, then we can have an extra 5 minutes of recess maybe. Or if it's you know, an upper level course, maybe it's some free time in class, or you can bring food to class, or whatever it might be. For PE, it could be you get a free no dress. So you have, you can look at these by student. Oh, we're not in the date range, sorry. We just did Shelby, we can look at hers. So you can see those points that we had for Shelby for today. This is what parents get to see as well. So I was actually first, I knew about Class Dojo, and my son's teacher, or my daughter's teacher, was using it. And so we would get reports, or we could go on there with our access and see our child's behavior and how they're doing. So if you have a child that's working on behavior or has behavior issues, you can share that with parents, and then they can see, oh, Billy was off task, he was bothering others. Oh, but here he was doing good, he was on task. You can see all those things as a parent, and it's a little bit, to me, it's better than, okay, I'm gonna write you this sticky note, or I'm gonna type up a letter and send it home, because parents actually have instant access to this throughout the day. And those notes, sometimes, you know, they don't make it all the way there back home. So it's a good way to do that. You can also view information. Ooh, you're not gonna be able to see that. I'm gonna have to. You can also aggregate it as a spreadsheet. So the teacher is listed here, of course, and then the skill name, and then the points and the award. So it doesn't have to be just that graphic. A few other things that Class Dojo has are they have an attendance module, so you can keep track of attendance separately, I guess. Most schools are going to have their own system of keeping track of attendance. But in some cases, it's just you sending a note to the office, and then the office keeps track of it. If you want to keep track of yourself, there's that. You can select multiple. So if you have a bunch of kids that are smiling, or whatever you want them to do, you can click on all of them that you want, click on the feedback, and we can give all those students points. Random, so can't remember the teacher. I can't remember if it was Pepe or somebody else. Somebody used to have the, you know, the popsicle sticks, and you put names on them, of course, and you draw those out for students. They have an automatic randomizer on there that you can do for choosing students to receive points. There is a timer on there, and I know I've talked about this in several different classes that I've had, and I know I've used timers for you guys before, but this is one that's already built in, so that's great. They have, this is like they're kind of like little stories about good behavior that are built in, and that's the big ideas. The toolkit has all those things in them as well, and they also have music, so we can play some of the music built in. And you noticed they also have a noise meter that works just the same as the bouncing balls, so that's already built in. You can increase or decrease the sensitivity depending on what level you want it to be for your students. So you guys have to close it. There we go. So lots of things. The other cool thing that you can do with this is you can share it with other teachers. And so you notice on the spreadsheet, it had my name listed there. One of the nice things that happened with my daughter's class when she was using it way back in, it must have been 4th grade, I think the teacher was using it. So when Addison was in PE then, the teacher could take pictures, or they could, the PE teacher could add things to this class, to my daughter's class. So it was pretty cool. There is a spot for portfolios that's new. There's a spot that's called the class story. And if you can tell, it looks very similar to what Facebook might look like. But you can add pictures, you can put announcements, you can allow or disallow parents or other people to comment on those posts right within your class page. And then, you know, this is invitation only. So this isn't like Facebook. This is something that you would invite your parents to do and be a part of. And then they can come and check it out. You can see you can add photos and videos. You can add specific files for parents. You can record video if you want to give an announcement that way. And you can also put events in there. So it's very, very user-friendly and good for contacting with parents. You can also send specific messages. And so I could come here and I can add, I haven't invited the parents on this because they're all made up students. We're not made up, but they're not a real class. But once you've invited parents, they're going to connect through this through their email. And then as you can write a new message, and then you can connect with the people you want to send it to. So this one is called Class Dojo. If I can just go back, which I'm signed in. You can actually have your whole school on there, but classdojo.com. And I'll put that list together too and have it there for you at some point. But another very useful, easy, free, especially for your elementary people. I don't know that I probably wouldn't use this at the high school level, but I have used it in the middle school level just to track behavior. And it was when I didn't even have a class. I was dean of students. And so I just used it to track behavior. I had all the different behaviors that I was looking for. And then I could just use my phone and click on those. And then I could share those out with parents or other administrators or other teachers so that they could see the things that I was seeing with that student. So questions on that one? No questions. Okay. How many people think that would be beneficial? Anybody? Okay, it is. It's a great tool. I had one teacher, or actually the Oski Elementary told me that the teachers weren't allowed to use Class Dojo anymore because they went to PBIS and they wanted them to use the paper tickets. Well, I can tell you as a parent, one, paper tickets aren't necessarily that motivating. My son would have them, like I had a pile of them, and he wasn't turning them in. And this way, if it had been digital, it'd be something that we could see and work with. Whereas otherwise, they just go through the wash with PBIS. And I've had people say that PBIS and Class Dojo do not function together, but there's research after research after research paper that you can go and find that shows that they are and that they can be done together. So, okay. Next one. This one is, let's see, let's do our game first. Okay. So how many people have done or played a GimKit quiz game before? Anybody? Okay, good. So this is totally different than, I shouldn't say totally different. It's a game, it's a quiz game that you could use for review. There are some functions in it though that are different than things like Kahoot and Quizlet and Quizzes, in that you can get power-ups. You can earn power-ups, and you earn money as you answer questions correctly. And then you can use that money to purchase power-ups to make it easier for you to score more points or to handicap your other classmates. So it's not necessarily something that would be good for every age group, but it is unique, and it creates it a little bit more, I guess in my mind, it creates a little bit more exciting atmosphere for some of the kids. You wouldn't want to be in a situation where students use it to bully. You can actually turn the power-ups that hurt other players, you can turn those off as well. We're going to play with them on. It's going to be, we're going to play for 10 minutes, maybe less well, let's see, 10 minutes. Got 25 questions. First thing, if you have a piece of paper, like scratch paper, you want to get that out, because there's a couple questions you might want to use some scratch paper and a pen or pencil. So these are all random questions. They really don't have anything to do with our class. It's just for you to experience this. So there's some pop culture, there's some math, there's some science. I don't think I have any real history question. Oh, I do have at least one history question. There's a few questions about me. So we'll play it and we'll see how it goes. There are different modes. How many people have heard of the game Among Us? Okay, so that's kind of the hot thing now with a lot of kids. They have a new mode in Gimkit called Trust No One, and it's similar to, or it's inspired by Among Us. So it's a little bit different. And then you can also do this in team mode, to where maybe I'd put Kelsey and Jade and Lauren in one group, and Brenna and Peyton and Dylan in another group. So then you would compete. You'd be answering questions on your own, but your score would be together. So let's see. I got to get to the. Okay. Let's see how this works. I'm going to share in the chat box what you need to. Oops. So very similar to Kahoot and the others, you go to the site, enter the code, and then you have access. So you should be able to go to gimkit.com/live and enter 55147, and you'll go to the game. And then once everybody gets logged on or there, I will start the game. And I wish we were all together to do this, but you can also turn it on. Like right now I have it set so that if you get a question wrong, since these are all fairly easy questions, you're not going to see the answer if you get it wrong. Although you can have it set up so that students can view the correct answer once they get it, if they get it wrong. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
It's taking forever to load.
Is it? It's probably because everybody's logging in at once. Or it could be just the Wi-Fi. You're all right. 15. Let's see. 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 21.
Can I do this on my phone? Because it's not loading on my computer.
Yeah, you should be able to. Yep.
Okay.
We're missing just one person. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Okay. Is everybody ready? I wish you all luck. This is all super hard questions. Some of them are tricky. Here we go. You will get the questions more than once, so. Luke upgraded to level 2, money. Bree's holding that lead. Wait, she's been in the lead a long time now. Oh, gone back and forth to Jake a little bit. Oh, Jade's up to the level 2 money. Jack's moving up the ranks. He's up to, oh, Jake's back up. Lauren's up to Level 2 money. Jake's taking over the lead. Jack's moving up. I think Jake's getting a little help there in the background. Oh, Jack took the lead spot. Cameron's moving up. Alicia's moved up to level 2 money. Oh, Bree battled back. She's in the lead. Oh, back and forth now. Jake's up top. Kelsey's been sneaking up. Now she's number 4. Sydney's made a huge climb. Jeremy's made a huge climb. Dylan's moved up to level 2 money. Uh-oh, Kelsey's making a run for the number 1 spot now. Oh, there she goes. She got it. Peyton's up to level 2 money. Sammy moved up to level 2 money. You got 2 minutes. You want to make a run, you got to do it now. Use those power-ups. Oh, Alicia moved up her multiplier to level 2. Molly moved up to level 2 money. Uh-oh, look at the, everybody's using a streak bonus, multipliers. Uh-oh, Luke iced Bree. 60 seconds. Oh, Peyton climbed all the way to number 1. Bree Ice Luke. Lexi moved up to number 2. Ten seconds. All right. So we'll look at, so here's the final standings and your money. Don't we all wish it was real money? I don't know who player 22 was. Somebody try to get in again. We can view the report. I'll go through your answers too to make sure you can see all that. So you can look at the number correct, the number incorrect, and then their accuracy. So if you were obviously doing this with real content, you'd be able to check. And it's a good way to do a review and check their scores before. You can assign it as homework as well. So it doesn't have to be a competition in this way. It could be just one person getting on and completing the questions and scoring on their own. So that's another option. They have a general overview. So if you want to like compare class to class, maybe you have different sections, number of questions answered correctly, the ones incorrect, and then the accuracy, and then collectively the amount of money. Could be a rundown between different classes. To go through the answers, only 3 people got that correct. If you got it correct, how old am I?
46.
46, thank you. 1974. So 9 minus 3 divided by 1/3 plus 1. This was a hard one. You have to take the 3 divided by 1/3 first. What do you do when you divide by a fraction? What do you do to the fraction? Yeah, flip it over. So you really have 3 times 3 is 9. So then you have 9 minus 9 is 0, plus 1 is 1, okay? This one was super hard as well. I don't know if people started to guess and get it right or what, but 49 dogs signed up to compete in the dog show, 36 more small dogs than large dogs. What was the correct answer? Does anyone remember? 42.5. Is that right? I think so. I don't have the sheet with me.
Yeah, it was good.
Small dogs are signed up, so the answer is 36.
What's that? Oh, there it is. I clicked on it. I got it. 42.5. So you have a half a dog, right? How many triangles? 18. How many people have seen that question before? Anybody? Yeah. You have to count. So you count all the sides, of course. Then there's 3 triangles, 3 big triangles. There's 3 medium-sized triangles. There's 3 little triangles. There's a triangle here. There's a triangle here. So it gets up to 18. Only 28 people got this correct. 2 answers that were correct, Grogu or the child, of course. If you're a Mandalorian person, that's what that is. We did a little better with The Office. Pam's flavor is mixed berry. which Avenger, other than Captain America, was able to pick up Mjolnir in the Marvel movies, and that was Vision. Rob's kids' names. I actually gave you a hint earlier today. You might not have caught it, but I talked about my daughter Addison in 4th grade. So that's an old picture. There, she's turned 15 today, actually. So she's a freshman. So the word 7, you take away S, you have even. Okay. Okay, good old Disney, right? Half-Blood Prince, or supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. That's the correct way to do it. I thought we might get some of these Harry Potter ones. Mr. Snape. So 7 books, 8 movies. Is cereal soup? How many people actually think cereal is soup? Anybody? No? Everybody says no? Not even a cold soup? Okay. That was a trick question. 1873. Oh, you guys did pretty good with that. Mercury's closest planet to the sun. The wildebeest and the lion actually both run at 50 miles an hour. This is the actual number. And then if you take January 2nd, February 2nd, March 2nd, you can do 12. So either one of those. Blue and yellow makes green. That was a hard one. People miss this? Come on. You're probably hurrying. I'll say you're hurrying. Of course, shaking my head. Day, Star Wars Day. May the 4th, right? May the 4th be with you. Why is it neither? They're both a pound, right? They weigh the same. Pound of feathers, pound of bricks. That's good. You guys, most of you got that. Anybody do Sudoku? This is a basic Sudoku. So they all add up to 15. I didn't know how many people I would catch with this one. There's no plus sign there. So 1 + 1 + 1 is 3, plus 11 is 14, 15, 16. Oh, you guys all, it's because all the answers were right there. So how many people said chainsaw? Yeah. Knife? Baseball bat? Yeah. Sharp pencil? Good. Okay. They have changed this. I don't know how many kits you can actually have at a time. I know they've limited the number of players. But you just create a kit and you can add your own questions in there. You can have separate classes. You can do assignments. They do have news where you can see. So here's that new game mode, Trust No One. That's the latest news. They have different power-ups and they change sometimes. Like the pumpkin pie used to be, the pumpkin pie replaces the icer for Thanksgiving, so that changed it. They have an infinity mode where students race to acquire all 6 infinity stones. So they keep it lively with different things. I don't know. Let's see how much it costs. My free trial. Oh, I'm on the free trial. I don't know how much it costs. Account information. Okay. And then your kits will show up here. And like I said, you're going to assign it as homework as well. So you click on that, then you can create an assignment. And you have due dates, and you can have a certain amount of money, and you can have them practice however they want. So good. Okay, 237. First, let's talk about that. Beneficial, I mean, was that fun, do you think? You could see, though, how maybe you wouldn't want to run it in a really competitive class where they might be mean. We only had a couple people get iced in there, and they iced each other back and forth. But there are power-ups, and I know my daughter did a GIMP kit earlier this month, and she said it was a group, and so she's kind of a nerd. She'll tell you the same thing, so don't look at me funny there. She's kind of a nerd. She would answer all those questions. She was answering all the questions, but then the other people in her group then were using the power-ups and icing other people, and then they came back on her. So then they started icing her, and then of course then she couldn't answer the questions, and then her team didn't do as well as I think they still ended up winning, but it could be that way. So you can turn those off. Like I said, you can turn off the negative ones and just keep the positive ones. So that's GIMP kit. Okay. Last one I'm going to tell you about, and this is actually part of your assignment. Let me move this around. There's a site that's called Big Huge Labs, and it's a older site. It's been around for a while. Flickr is an old photo sharing site that predates Instagram, and it's been around for a long time. And this one was actually designed originally to work with Flickr. Like you would have your Flickr account with all your different pictures that you took and uploaded, and then you could use them here. But you can upload pictures from anything, so it doesn't have to be from like your own personal photos. And has all these different things that you can do. So there's a motivator, so like motivational posters. I haven't had any on my door this year just because there's not that many people walking around anymore. But I've made motivational posters here pretty simply, and we'll do that here, and I'll show you how to do it in a minute. They have these pop art posters. I don't know what you would use that for, but you might be able to. The other ones that I like are movie posters and magazine covers, and you enter your own information. So if you're creating something for your class, maybe a booklet or a poster for your room, you could use the movie poster or the magazine cover. And when I show you how it works, you'll see how easy it is just to manipulate the information. They have one that will do, that will put it into a jigsaw puzzle, so you could cut it out and use it as a puzzle in your classroom if you wanted, maybe a picture of something from your room. I don't really use the photo booth, but you're welcome to check that out when you have an opportunity. I don't use the mosaic maker either, or the Hockneyizer, which you're welcome to take a look at those. The other ones that I've used that I think are beneficial for schools or teachers are the badge maker. So you can create your own badges and put your own information on them. So maybe I always, elementary wise, a lot of students you give students jobs. And so you can use badge maker to make some badges for that. There's the calendar that you can put pictures on, which could be related to content. There's one that's called the trading card, where you can make your own sets of trading cards, and you can maybe use them in your class and have students earn certain cards. And then even keep that trading card idea where maybe Jack has 2 of this card and Peyton has 2 of another card, and so they trade. The other one that gets used a lot for this class anyway is this cube maker. And there's different things you can do with it. You can either have it look like a dice or like a die, I should say, or it can just be 6 different pictures. And that would be up to you guys on what you want to do there. I'm gonna show you how to use this real quick, and then I'll introduce the assignment. There's a lot of ads. It's free, but you just have to work around the ads. So they have choose a photo. You can upload it. Here's that Flickr connection. They also have an Instagram connection and a Dropbox if you were going to store things there. You can choose a file. Let's go to my downloads. And then you can put a title, and motivational text, I didn't look any up, but whatever you want for your motivational text. Our photo, we can control whether we want it left top cropped in the center or right bottom. Most pictures you'll just do center depending on what the picture is. You can do these in landscape or portrait. We can add borders, single, double, or fancy, and then you can control the colors. So I know my daughter's got some ugly Hawkeye gear on, so we'll make it yellow, black, and white. And then all you do is hit create, and then it puts that together for you. So really simple, looks kind of cool, you know, you can put those up in your room. Maybe you have rules or things in your classroom that you want to use it for. So, but really easy to use. What I recommend to everyone, you can download these as they are. What I usually tell people to do though is to right click it and save the image and then put it onto a Word doc. And then you're not saving it as a JPEG. But you can do it however you want. For our assignment, when I go to it, you'll see that there's a number of things that you're going to create for this. And so you're welcome to download them and upload them as JPEGs. But really, it's probably best to save them and put them on a Word doc and then upload them as the Word doc or the PDF. So, okay. So there's Layton and Madeline, right? Layton and Madeline. Drayton and Adeline, what was it? Okay. Did anybody get that right the first time? Did anybody know what my kids, oh, good. Okay. Not that it's any importance. So I'm gonna go to the assignment or where it's at anyway. So this is what it looks like. It says number 20, bighugelabs.com. This is due on Tuesday of next week. You need to make one motivational poster, one magazine cover or movie poster, and one of your choice. So you're really making 3 things. I used to have people make more, but this is all we're gonna make this term, just because it feels like we've been in session for about 25 weeks now. You can choose whichever other one you want. Like I said here, I have some recommendations, the badge maker, the trading cards, or the cube. If you want to do something besides those 3, ask me and let me know what type of thing that you want to create, just so we can make sure that it's going to work. But from that Big Huge Lab site, there's the link. It'll take you to this page and you will make those. You'll see like the movie poster and the magazine cover, they're both very similar. There's only a couple things I want to remind you about with these. First, you know, your picture is going to be in the background. And so depending on how busy your picture is, it's going to make it either easier or harder to read your words. The other is, as you add these taglines, if they're really long, they aren't going to fit on your poster. So here, let me, what time is it? 2:46. You might have to play around with it a little bit. So as you create those, if you get something that isn't going to work because of the way the words are on your photo, you can just hit the back button, come back, and then alter your information back here. Just make sure that your picture is still uploaded and that everything is there, okay? Same thing with I'll show you, the magazine cover, it's worse. The thing is, you just want to keep it simple. So people will come in here and they'll have their picture on there. And then for line 11, which is, and you don't have to use all these lines. If you do the magazine, you can only do a couple if you want, it doesn't matter. But if they come down here to line 11 and they make something, their line 11 is like 10 words long. Then when they look at their picture, the words are all the way across the page and they're on top of other things and stuff. So just play around with it. Keep it simple. You want to keep it simple. You know, think about maybe a unit. This is going to be a unit on plants. And then line 1 is photosynthesis, and line 2 is water, and line 3, or whatever, however you want to do it. So that's what you're doing for that assignment, Big Huge Labs. This is technically part of your final, so to speak, but it's due on Tuesday, okay? I want to talk about the final real quick. As I've mentioned, it's not something that's content specific. The general idea is there's going to be a question about creating media. And as you guys create media, I want you to remember, I use that term media, but it doesn't just mean social media. It means everything that you create that you are using to transfer information or share information. So your web page, if you go on Twitter, that's social media, but that's media. If you create a test or a quiz, if you make a poster, if you make a bulletin board, all of those things are media. So when we think about, you'll see the first question number 1, it's in reference to media. When we're thinking about all these things that we're creating for our classroom, what are some things that we need to remember? I'm asking you guys right now.
Make it relevant.
Make it relevant, very, very much so. You want it to be something that's useful or beneficial to the students. What else?
Keep it interesting.
Yep, interesting. Okay, good. Definitely, and both of those things, when we talk about those parent letters, that's media. We talk about the emails to principals, that's media. But, parents, you really got to get to the point on that stuff. So good. What else? What do we tell you to do with anything that you turn in as an assignment? What should you do before? What's the last thing you should do?
Proofread?
Yeah. Why do you want to proofread?
Say something
make
be like
sense.
that.
I got too mixed up. I didn't quite catch that. I didn't even see who was saying it.
So it all makes sense.
Yep. So it all makes sense. That's part of it. Yep. What else with proofreading?
Professional.
Yes. And what do you mean by that, Bailey?
It should look like you put enough time into it and didn't just do it in like 2 minutes and just type it up quick or whatever.
Okay. So what does it mean to be professional when we create our media then? What kinds of things would I look for if I was grading a paper, or grading an assignment from you that would show me that you are professionals?
Like certain language and words you use.
Yep, language for sure. Language choice is big. What else?
Correct
Grammar.
spelling.
Spelling. What
Sid
else?
said grammar.
Grammar, yes. Yep, all of those things. So if I wasn't professional, so if I created maybe I created some media and I had some misspelled words, or I used some slang terms that weren't really getting my message across, they were unneeded, what kind of reflection would parents and colleagues have on, and yes, Sydney, you're right, errors. You want to keep your errors down to the minimum. So if I did have errors or rambled on about things that didn't need to be in my media, or it was not easy to read or understand, what kind of impression do I give others then?
Sees you as maybe incompetent.
Definitely incompetent. You think about that term unprofessional, right? And not only are you the leader of the classroom, you are the expert, right? And if you're going to share information and you can't do it professionally, you are going to appear like maybe you aren't the expert, right? So keep those things in mind. Keep all that stuff that we just talked about there in mind when you're answering the final exam, okay? I think you'll see, and it will be good for you. So question 1 is about that media, about creating media itself. I've added some extra questions in there. So like you're going to have a question, and then there's 2 other little side pieces. Make sure you answer the side pieces, address them directly, okay? So for like question 1, you could easily get 2, maybe 3 paragraphs. It just depends on how much you write, but definitely 2 for sure. Okay. Question number 2 asks you to research 3 different applications. Okay. And you're going to compare and contrast those 3 applications. When you're doing that, I would summarize what the application is about, and then, of course, indicate any differences it has from the other 2. Okay, so you'll have 3 different ones. They're all very similar. So summarize it, and then talk about how it's different than the others. Okay, so you should have, you know, a couple sentences for each. Maybe you can bullet question 2 if you want, but you'll be comparing those 3 things, and it asks you to research. So what does that mean? That means you can go off of it. The test is going to be on Moodle, but it's really just a journal entry, so it's not set up like a quiz. So you'll be able to go off, do a little research on these 3 applications, and then come back. There are 3 applications that we haven't talked about. Okay. And then question 3 is a reflection on what your favorite application was that you learned about this term, or concept that you learned about this term in Media Methods. You can choose anything you want, but you need to tell me what it is and describe what it is, and then tell me why it was your favorite. So that should be a paragraph as well. Okay. So you're going to have 2 to 3 paragraphs for the first question. You're going to have some sort of research summary. It can be bulleted, but remember to have a summary of each application and then a contrast of how it's different. And then question 3 should be a paragraph at least of what your favorite application is, describing it. Okay, what does it do? And then tell me why it's your favorite. And really, you could add in there, if you want, how you plan to use it in your classroom. That could be another piece if you wanted a little extra to make that, to reach that full paragraph. Okay. Questions on the final?
When is that due?
I'm gonna open the final on Monday. It will be due by Thursday. Okay.
So we don't meet again? This is our last class?
This is our last class. Unless you really want to get together, I can put something together for us. I will say that I'm going to be going. I still have a few assignments with 25 of you. 25 is a huge section for me with Media Methods, and it takes me a long time to go through those like podcasts and things. That's like several minutes each, and I'm behind, but I'm going to be getting caught up. So I should have everything graded by Monday that is completed. What I ask of you guys, the other thing you guys can do is go through those individual assignments and make sure that you have something turned in. If you don't, or if you have something turned in and I've commented on it and say, hey, you need to go back and look at this and tweak this part of your assignment, you get it done. You have the opportunity to do that. That's going to give you more points. That's why I wrote it in there. So find any zeros or openings, and then also make sure you read the comments so that if there's something that you could update or change, that you have done that. Okay. And if you have questions on those things, Monday is going to be kind of a bad day for me as far as me being here and around. But Tuesday, I'm here all day. Tomorrow, I'm here, most of the day. And then Wednesday next week, I'll be here all day. Actually, no, Tuesday, Thursday of next week, I'm gone until like 10. But I'll be here the rest of the day Tuesday, and the rest of the day Thursday, all day Wednesday, and then most of the day tomorrow. So, okay. You can always email me, whatever you need, okay? Questions for me other than that?
Are you going to give us a list of the applications that we did today?
I am. I'm going to put that. I might just throw it right into the final exam. I'll just list them on there so that when you open up the final exam, they'll be there and you'll have them.
Thank you.
Okay. Other questions? My last thing to say to you that I encourage you to do, take all of these different things that you've done in class. I know we've done a lot of different pieces, but you can use those in your other classes. Maybe you're in a class with Steven and you could make a really awesome history web quest. It would be really easy to do that. As you get to the point of doing some longer field experience or student teaching, you can share, you can finalize your webpage and then share that with your parents. Say, hey, go check out my webpage. It's going to tell you a little about who I am as you introduce yourself, because you're going to introduce yourself to your classes. That would be another way to do it. There's lots of different pieces of things that we've done that you should be able to integrate into your other classes. Things with Google, Jamboard, et cetera, that you can put in there. So take this information and use it. Don't just put it on hold until you're done. The more you use it and the more frequent you use it, the better. I don't want to put Cameron on the spot, but she sat in on a meeting for us with some administrators, and they talked about the importance of technology right now. Right, Cameron? Is that a good way to phrase that? And how important it is for teachers to be able to function and use that. Anything else you want to add as far as, I kind of took over your spot. I said, I was introduced you and then I stole your thunder.
Basically just how like it's difficult for like grandparents and parents who like don't have technology, and how as teachers like we need to make it easier to provide for them as well.
Good. Perfect. So think about that as you create these things. Make it simple, but use it yourself so you have an understanding of it. Okay. Have a good holiday. Stay safe. Enjoy your time off. I know, like I said, it's felt like I've been here for 25 weeks and it's only been 16 weeks or 15 at this point, I guess. So enjoy your time off. Enjoy your athletics if you still have them going on. And then I'll see everybody back in some form or another in January, right? Okay. See you later.
Hey Rob, did you see that I emailed you?